Good morning, guys. It has been a minute since I picked up the camera, but we have a fun and exciting job to do this week. Lot to do, a lot to go over. It's going to be a huge transformation, which is going to be awesome to see at the end. But before I show you guys everything, let's get the excavator off the trailer and then see what we got to get into. Alrighty guys, so let's go over what we got to do today. Big project. We'll most likely be here for the week. There's just a lot of stuff to do. So I ripped out the stumps here. You guys saw that. There were 3 in here, and then the one over here, I ripped that out. That's the easiest thing we got to do. So basically this whole front of the house is a mulch bed. Was a mulch bed, is going to be a mulch bed, whatever. So we got a line marked for what we're going to do for the edge. Obviously we got a lot of stuff that has to come out of this bed. All this stuff obviously has to be pruned and everything. That is one thing we got to do. The next thing is on this side is also a mulch bed. So you can see the line we got. So same thing, dig all this out, get it nice and cleaned up, and ready to be mulched again. Obviously you saw this. This is just gonna get kind of grubbed out what I need to extra wise, and then will be fixed and loamed. This area also a mulch bed. Again, you can see the line. So clean this up, try and get everything we can out of the plants and the shrubs, and then give them a nice pruning, get them looking good again. Then the center bed that I ripped all the stumps out. This is all going to get dug down and completely grubbed out and get ready for new plantings either this year or next year or something. But the homeowner wants to replant in there and make it nice again. So we'll get that ready. Then this whole bed to basically to that pine tree is all gonna get grubbed out and cleaned. We'll put an edge on the front here. There is like almost 6 inches of pine needles in this bed. So there's a lot to pull out of here for sure. But it'll look really nice when it's done. So luckily with the excavator, I'm just gonna walk up in. We'll use the bed shaper, make a line. I'll be able to just walk up, pull everything back so that I can load from the driveway and make it easier, which would be nice. Then we got this side, starting kind of where that stake is. I believe we are going to clean like 5 or 6 feet from the edge towards the wood line, basically around all the way over, all the way back down to that corner. There's a lot of poison ivy and stuff in here, so basically all of it will be done with the excavator, which will be easy, but is, you know, I got to be careful, obviously, trying not to mess up the yard too much, because I'd like to just limit how much I need to fix in the yard when it comes to that. So that's most of what we need to do in the front. There's one more bed just where those 3 pine trees are. That's gonna get a circle bed and mulch, so that'll need to be cleaned up. The guys are just finishing blowing off some of the yard. This is all phase 1, so to speak. So the backyard, there's a ton to do in there also. That's what we're going to tackle once the front yard is fully done. So we'll probably be here in the front for most likely all of today and all of tomorrow. And then we'll move to the backyard after. And when we go to the backyard, I will show you guys that then. It's just, there's a lot to go over in total here, so try not to do everything at once. So yeah, we once these guys are finished and blowing off, Fuller is going to edge this so that I can start grubbing it. And while I'm grubbing this all out, they'll probably start along the house, getting that stuff, basically what I can't hit with the excavator, getting that stuff kind of pulled out, shoveled and whatever off into a pile. And then when I have this whole front grubbed out, we'll just load trucks and run them to go dump them. Luckily where we're dumping is only like a 6-minute drive, so it's like 15-minute total turnaround time, which will be really nice. And yeah, all the stumps, all the big sticks and everything will go in the dump trailer, and then we'll run the 2 trucks, the 550 and the 1 ton. We'll run those for all this other stuff that I'm grubbing out. So I know it's a lot to go over, but that's the gist of it. Lots of cleanup, lots of pine needles. So let's see what else we can get done. So stuff to the side. I'm gonna walk up in here so I can put the trailer in. that's already on. Sound right. Yep. Like, right here. To physical body together. All right, guys, so you see we just finished this middle section, or just about finished. There's a couple more roots and stuff we're gonna cut out there. This pile we'll pick up and throw in with all these stumps and stuff after, so that where we dump all this, they don't get too upset at us. But otherwise, this is all grubbed out and everything. and I'm gonna start over here. So you kind of see where he started at the edge of there and worked all the way around. So he's cleaning up the whole, Fuller's cleaning up the whole curb line, getting all that stuff pulled off. And so I'm gonna walk in and start grubbing all this back towards the curb line, and then where that stake is over there, there's a irrigation head, so Fuller's gonna dig that out so I don't hit it and rip it out. And then as I'm working down, they're going to clean anything around the trees that I can't grab. So yeah, I mean, that's the next step. Should go pretty easy. We had 2.5-ish trucks pulling out of that island. There's gonna be quite a few coming out of here, so we'll see how many we get.
Is that the edge? Is that the edge? Here. Like that?
Alrighty guys, so what I'm going to do now, since you guys obviously just saw us scrub all this area out, is I'm going to pull all this into the driveway and then go back through with shovel and rake and stuff and clean up the edge and everything and make it get it all right, you know, kind of central in the driveway. And then that way it'll make it a little easier for me to load trucks out and stuff, because I can just put the blade down, scoop right off the driveway, use the blade and everything, and just load a few trucks out that way. But I'm not going to record that because I'm down to the last 40% on this battery, and the other two are charging, but they were both dead basically. So I'm going to try and skip along a little bit for you guys so that, you know, you don't need to see every little minute of what goes on, and so then I'll at least have some battery for some of the good stuff whenever that stuff pops up. So I will see you guys after all this is pulled into the driveway. Alrighty guys, so got this all cleaned up. Looks really nice now. You just got a couple little piles of sticks and stuff that we're gonna throw in the trailer after. You got front looking nice, still got to weed whack it to give it that final crisp look, but it's getting there. Jaden and Fuller are going through this middle bed, raking it out again, cutting any bigger roots and stuff that are sticking up that would come up when we go to mulch it or whatever. So we got some small piles to pick up. We'll pick that up after, but what we're gonna move on to now is one of the beds over here. So Fuller got this crisped real nice, and you can see like how dark these couple pieces are. This grass was completely grown over, and you couldn't even see the granite. So got that all cleaned up. He's working on this side, but they're getting that island done, and then he's gonna finish this as get this kind of done with. So I am going to hop in the machine and start pulling some of this stuff. Probably gonna have to come in from both sides and just kind of bucket it over and then get back in the driveway to fill the truck, but that won't be too hard. So let's start pulling some stuff out of here. Alrighty guys, we are done with day number 1. So we got, I feel like, a good bit of work done, but obviously it doesn't necessarily look like a ton of work, but we got this totally done. We got all the wood taken out and everything in the dump trailer. So this is 100% done, ready for mulch. Then we got this raked out. This is all ready for mulch and stuff. We might rake some stuff around just to kind of fill in some of the voids around the roots and whatever, so that we're not wasting mulch. But that's not too big of a deal. And then we are basically done with this. We have a couple little things to cut out, but this bed is also all set. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the gist of what we did. So again, not too much, but also at the same time, quite a bit. I think we dumped 10 loads, and then obviously full dump trailer of brush and stumps. And so tomorrow on the agenda, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start at this bed. We already have it edged out, and we have some already pulled out or whatever, but we're gonna get this bed done, and then we'll probably start over there and just get that bed 100% edged, cleaned, pruned, everything, then jump over here, get this, and then tackle the big one over there at the end. That'll probably be like an after lunch thing. Is we should be able to get these done before lunch and then do that big one after lunch. There's a lot of poison ivy and stuff in there, so try and do as much with the machine so that nobody ends up with any poison ivy. So yeah, I mean, that's day 1 in the books. We're just blowing off now, hooking trailers back up and everything. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It is day 2 on this neglected property refurbish, I guess. I don't know. It's just me and Jaden today. Wilson is out dealing with his kids, and so Fuller is mowing, and so it's just the 2 of us. So we're gonna get as much done as we can, but we won't be as far along as we hope to be, but that's okay. So it's already 9 o'clock. What we did when we first got here is we went through, thatched the yard, and blew it all off because it was really, really bad. But I didn't really feel like I needed to record that. Small areas of the yard just wouldn't have been, great footage and whatever. So I skipped on that. But we are starting our actual progress. So I got the excavator warming up now. Jaden is over there just cutting out some remaining roots or whatever, and we got a good plan going. All right, guys, so what we got to do over here is this pile of old mulch is just going to get thrown in the woods, basically, and then I got to try and clear out as much of this vine and poison ivy infestation, whatever. Try and clear out what I can along the propane tank, and then I don't know, probably somewhere up to here, and basically just throw it over the hill. So nothing too crazy. Obviously I just have to be careful of the fence, the propane line, and the propane tank. So shouldn't be too difficult, but I will not say it's easy. Again, we don't say it's easy at this company. It is straightforward. If you say it's easy, it will be hard. So it is straightforward. Let's go. Alright guys, we are over here. This bed, the next 3 of these beds are going to be kind of a pain because of how much is kind of like under the bushes and stuff, and what's in the bushes. So just gonna try and kind of slice and dice some of this crap that's underneath it and throw it right in the bucket and see how it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a little bit of a pain, but let's get to it. Alright guys, as you saw, we got this bed all cleaned up. And then while we were already in here, I just figured might as well fix this. We got a little bit of loam at the shop that we'll grab when this truck is full, because we're dumping 2 minutes around the corner from our shop. So we will dump this truck when it's full, grab it's like a yard that's there, dump it here, rake that, then that'll be done. But we're gonna start digging out this bed here. We might as well just start here. So we already got this whole thing edged. And then we have rhododendron here that we're gonna save. We have rhododendron here that we're gonna save, or at least try to. There's a lot of vines growing up through it. And then I don't actually know what this is, but we got this thing here that obviously has some bittersweet growing up that we'll have to try and deal with, but that will be difficult. And then that'll probably bring us till lunchtime. It's 10:45 now, and then we'll jump over to this other side and go from there. So let's start ripping some shit out. can't scrape a lot of this. Really just gonna be. If you want to weight this down, I'll start loading this in the truck, and then I'll just have to have you just hold that on already.
I told the guy when I was dumping, I was like, he was lecturing me on why we can't mix the stumps together. And I don't know how many times I had to say, all right, I guess I should get going before he fucking let me go.
Oh, they don't. They none of them.
What the fuck, dude? Like, I get it. You have time. I didn't feel as bad until I showed up and realized Fuller wasn't with us today.
There it is, guys. Nice and clean. Oh. Let me put the microphone on. There it is, guys. Nice and clean. Looks pretty good. So we're going to we're gonna probably blow this out again. I don't know, maybe, but it's gonna get weed sprayed for sure, because we're not going to be able to get rid of all that stuff. So we'll get some weed spray down on there at some point, probably when we have this whole other side cleaned up. Probably do it tomorrow. So yeah, we got this guy to go. I'm going to start with pruning this guy and that guy, and see how fast we can go through this, because that last bed only took us 45 minutes, so it's definitely gonna take longer, but hopefully only like a couple hours.
Like an Asian garden. Huh? Like an Asian garden. I think American garden.
Well, guys, there we go. We got both shrubs pruned up. Still got to clean them off. But we went to lunch after the last clip and this one. And so when we got back, we ate, and then I kind of forgot to start recording to show you guys that one, but got you guys for that last one. And yeah, Jaden's just kind of going through, clipping out whatever is kind of growing up through stuff and whatnot. And then obviously we are going to start ripping this bed apart. Well, guys, I thought that I was recording when we were doing this bed, but apparently I was not. So we got all this done. We actually pulled these shrubs completely out because we could literally pull them out by hand. So pulled them out, we cleaned everything underneath them and whatnot, and then put them back. And then in this area where we had the weed fabric, you can see I was able to just pull it out with the fingers on the tilt rotator, but we literally don't even have to do anything. We can just rake it. So this whole piece that went all the way down is just bare dirt right underneath. So that saves us some time, some effort. How many years did it save you, Jaden?
A good 3 or 4 off my back.
3 or 4 years for a 20-year-old. Man, that's like 10 years for me. So the one time weed fabric is doing its job.
That's just right. Thanks, Ruby.
All right, Aiden, you rake that out for me.
Aiden's on Flies your ass.
Well, there you go. There it is. Alrighty, guys, we are done for day number 2. It was a pretty good, productive day. So, just a little recap. We got this done, that done, the bed over there. That was all yesterday. And then today, we got this cleared out, looking good. We got this side, and then this middle area, which all look really nice. And then got the side of the house over here, all done as well. So all that we have left to do in the front yard before we move on to phase 2 out back is the wood line all the way over there, which that we will, we should be able to get done tomorrow. I mean, it should only take a few hours. But a couple little things that we also did was all this edging. You can see looking down, we cleaned that up. Looks nice and crisp. Same thing over there. So that looks really good. And then a couple little small sections over here that we did too. Just to really kind of top off the look. So you can see, this was like this darker cobble here. You can literally tell the grass came all the way out and over. So it's looking a lot nicer already. We're not even done yet. Then also we did this area, got that all raked out. Saw Jaden making fun of me, but that's gonna be it for these 2 days. We will be back here tomorrow to get this side done and to start phase 2, which is gonna be fun and exciting. A lot of work out back to do too. That's another few days. So I will see you guys next time.